because I'd seen an ancient book of language that was in Greek, and so I was curious if that obviously has a lot of.
I'd have to study more Greek to get it. My friend Vartan speaks like 5 languages really well. And I'm curious to see what he thought of this, because he speaks those languages and understands. So here's the cool thing about languages is that they're all dictated by a mother tongue or a cultural tongue, and they all have syntactical rules. And this is why you can have words in one language that don't exist in another. And so the point is meanings in one language that don't exist in another. So to be bilingual, trilingual, or quadrilingual, or quintessolingual, or septessolingual is a way to change your mind, right? Because you have meanings that don't exist in this world that exist in this world. And that happens all the time. That's why when you speak to people that have a different language, you actually learn a lot, because you think about reality in a different way. And hopefully this talk kind of shows you that without words, we're really lost. And I would even say without symbols. And those symbols are archetypal. They're way, way more powerful than we know, or that most people know, and they're ancient. They are directly related to the human being on this planet in nature, and they are real. They're absolutely real. And they'll come out in times of crisis, especially identity crisis, or extreme fear, or extreme exuberance, or pleasure, or you'll see a different part of your persona, right? The mask persona come out, and they're fueled by these archetypes. And Carl Jung is the guy you want to read if you want to learn about those archetypes. But people just think they're psychological ideas, but they're not. They are real. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They are absolutely real. And we articulate them with words and symbols as best we can. You had a question, Claire?
Do you know how to read Greek at all?
I don't know how to read Greek. I've only started studying a little bit of the Greek alphabet through this book. And I know that a lot of the letters are reversed. And of course, we have a lot of those things encoded in our society with the fraternities. And you kind of wonder, well, how did that Greek stuff get to America, right? And there's a reason for it. Right. Is those symbols are archetypal in our psyche. And they influence our thinking, and they influence our behavior. And so it's good to know what all those symbols are, and I don't know what all those are. I mean, I know alpha and omega, and I know delta, and a few of probably the ones everybody knows. But I do know that Greek and Coptic and even Hebrew and English are all what they call scientifically created languages, meaning the symbols that create the letters that are symbols are not arbitrary. Each one of them is actually based on a natural principle, usually having to deal with light. So, for example, some of the Hebrew alphabet, which this is probably similar to Greek in some ways, but the Hebrew alphabet was put together by watching the sun make shadows on a stick over a 12-hour period on a semicircle. On an edge of this. And so they would see all these weird patterns go on, or shadows, and they're pretty fluid, right? But eventually they got chopped up and curtailed into certain sounds, and a lot of them don't even resemble like what they started out with, but it's based on a natural principle. It's actually based on time, the sun, and a material object. So English is the same, and Greek is the same, Coptic is the same. It's a scientifically created language, which is why you can see etymological roots transfer. So the same roots of Sanskrit, which is also scientifically created, is in Latin, which a lot of them are in English. So hopefully that...
Yeah.